In the previous chapter, Paul shared how deeply encouraged he was about the reports that had reached him regarding the church in Thessalonica. The way they live has become a model of faith, and many people have been helped and strengthened and encouraged by the church there. After speaking of opposition and already begun a little bit of a trip down memory lane as he reminisces about his time with them for those few short weeks, Paul now recounts some of the events of Acts chapter 17 from his own perspective. You know, brothers and sisters, that our visit to you was not without results. We had previously suffered and been treated outrageously in Philippi, but with the help of our God, we dared to tell you his gospel in the face of strong opposition. Something that we perhaps take for granted, because to us the spread of the gospel seems so inevitable, is the huge amount of courage it would have taken to have been battered and bruised and mistreated at the hands of others, and then arrive in a new city ready to repeat the experience all over again. They went from Philippi to Thessalonica, and Paul says that they still dared to preach the gospel there, given what had happened in Philippi. The temptation for any of us, I think, after what happened there, would have been to take things easy, to rest and recover. After all, they've been through a traumatic experience in Philippi. And all those things are true, they have been. But Paul, with Christ-like love, was willing to risk his own safety and security again and again and again in the hope that he would see others saved. The lives that we are called to live require courage. The gospel always faces some resistance, and when we speak the truth about Jesus, we should not be surprised when we find it difficult. However, Paul finds courage, and again, the courage comes from God. You see that there in verse 2. With the help of our God, we dared to tell you his gospel in the face of strong opposition. If you lack courage, ask for the help of God, and he will surely give it to you. Paul then draws out this fascinating distinction between so-called courage that is motivated by pride and genuine courage that is motivated by love. By the way, if you want examples of false courage, you don't have to look far to find many examples. So many companies that change their online profile pictures in apparent brave support of Pride Month, they will all change those profile pictures in Western countries where they will still get a great deal of credit for apparently being courageous, even though they're supporting a very much mainstream view nowadays. But they refuse to do the same thing in countries where they will be heavily criticized, where there will be fierce opposition for holding that particular viewpoint. Have a look at Pfizer.com with their location set to New York City. And this is Pfizer, Saudi Arabia at the same time. And you'll notice the difference between the two pages. This is Vogue magazine. And in the same month, Vogue Arabia is distinctly less colourful. General Electric did the same thing exactly, and many more companies along with them. This is what performative courage looks like. This is what false courage looks like for the sake of getting credit. Paul says, there is no falsehood in us. When we came and we preached the gospel, we were not looking for the praise of people. We knew we wouldn't get it. And we were not greedy for money. No, we told you the truth and we were ready to die for it. We were as innocent as children among you, verse 7. And then flipping the metaphor, in fact, we were like mothers who care for their children. And then using another tender metaphor, verse 11. You know that we dealt with each of you as a father deals with his own children, encouraging, comforting, and urging you to live lives worthy of God, who calls you into his kingdom and glory. And finally, still building on those ideas of the affectionate relationship he has with the people of this church, Paul writes, brothers and sisters, we were orphaned by being separated from you for a short time in person, not in thought. Out of our intense longing, we made every effort to see you, for we wanted to come to you. Certainly I, Paul, did, again and again. Such affectionate language, such deep-seated love he has for the church there. And though he is unable to join them in person, he writes this deeply encouraging letter to stir up their affection and to help them to endure. So 3 simple points of application for today. Firstly, when you lack courage, ask God to help. Paul displayed amazing Christ-like courage for the sake of these people, but he didn't do it in his own strength. With the help of God, we dared to tell you the gospel. You and I should be able to say the same. Secondly, search your heart to try and understand yourself. If you speak boldly about Jesus only on a Sunday in front of those who already love Jesus, do you see that that doesn't require much courage? Are we speaking primarily for the praise of others, or are we speaking for the sake of real people whose hearts we are longing to see saved? And thirdly, let love be your fuel. Paul says, we did all this because we loved you so much. We were delighted to share the gospel with you. Paul looked at these people with the love and the affection of a mother and a father. Are there people who you think of in the same way? Younger generations in the church family, or those whose faith you have been instrumental in forming? Do you think of them with affection, as though they were your child, that you would do almost anything for them to bring them to God? Where we fall short in these ways, and we do, may God help us as he has promised to. May he forgive us of our sin and put strength in our stride as we follow in the footsteps of Jesus and call others to follow as well.